Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Mili reaction. Today would usually be a day that I listen to another song from the Project Moon franchise, but somebody did comment this song, and I realized it's been a while since I've heard anything from Mili, and this song itself is like 6 years old. I've listened to other songs off the same album, and I'm like, you know what? Sure. But of course, it's not like this is going to replace my attention to the Project Moon soundtrack at all. It's just going to be a slight step to the side and experimenting with some more music from Mili, because every single time I feel like I get something a little new. So without further ado, let's go. Ooh. Love those chords. The slight dissonance in there is so cool. Already starting strong. It's kind of weird hearing her voice again. It's been so long.
Sprout, little peas. You will be so tall and strong. Fight on. Bloom, bloom, little fires. Light up our dark head.
I like how this whole song sounds kind of detuned a little bit.
Make it last, let them make it sing a tiny little song. Tiniest voices sing all night long. Let them make it stream.
I'm loving how this is produced. Shocker.
Let us dream on, dream on, dream on.
The vocal harmony in there. Ooh. It feels like the first time, every single time I listen to Mili. It never feels like it's the same thing twice.
Silence dances into their tiny mouths.
Which is weird.
Taking their steps, strangling them all. Then
Because so many other songs sound similar, but also so clearly independent from each other.
how much I wish to be. Let the night get sing a tiny little song. Tiniest voices sing all.
And their production value as always.
Let the
The attention to detail as always.
no matter right or wrong, let us dream on, dream on. Let the night get sing, no audience to be found.
There's just so much happening. I'm like finding myself getting quiet, listening to every layer, trying to figure it out. I love that synth too.
Is this where I belong?
Kind of reminds me of Imogen Heap's Hide and Seek a little bit.
The furthest I could have gone.
man, every single time, I find myself just enamored every second. And I don't want to talk a lot because I'm trying to focus on their stories as well, because those are always unique too. And as dark as they may be at times, they still tell such unique tales each and every time. Man, I always have so much to say. I'm going to be yapping on this one as well. So lyrically, which is where I tend to focus for a lot of Mili's songs because they are so narratively driven most of the time, I feel like this song is kind of referring to the spoils of war in a negative light. Like, you're talking, the whole song is about maggots and like what infests dead bodies? Maggots. What grows from that pile of flesh become food? Maggots. It's a place that they thrive. So when you're talking about letting the maggots sing, and then you're also matching it with this like very militant sound coming on the snare drum and everything there's also the synths that almost sound a little bit trumpet-like, maybe a fanfare, and it's starting to feel like it could be war related, but it can be really difficult to figure out where the inspiration is for a lot of Mili's songs because I don't know where they're getting their inspirations from. I don't know what sparked the creativity that resulted in the song. So I feel like this is just a general anti-war message, maybe, or it could just be a reflection on history and how things have gone in the past. And basically the maggots singing their song is effectively, let them be them. You can't do anything. Sometimes you just have to leave a body there, because that's really not the main focus in the midst of war. You're not trying to get bodies back to families as much as you would like to. A lot of the times it's just not realistic and you have to leave them there and let the maggots sing their song. That makes the most sense to me when it comes down to like how the lyrics are phrased. I reread the lyrics as I usually do with Mili songs afterwards just to make sure I didn't miss anything, and I really didn't. There wasn't anything directly pointing towards war. And even though a lot of their songs tend to be pretty metaphorical, it's also not very clear in this one. Not even like ambiguously can I tell if they're actually talking about war. It just seems like they're talking about maggots outright as the creature, which is a way to phrase all of this metaphor. But at the same time, they're not really giving a clear picture as to what the result or the why the maggots are there and why they're thriving. They're just saying, let it happen. This could also be an allegory for something like personal growth. For example, letting all the bad things that you've done in life or that other people have done in life maybe grow into something that could be more beautiful, because there is a mention of a kind of blooming into a butterfly, even though they're maggots. That's not how that works, but you get what I mean. It's a little bit of that. There could be a few meanings to this. It could be very metaphorical. It could be a little bit more gritty, realistic. And the one thing I feel like really points it towards being a militant sound is the snare, is that synth that sounds kind of like a trumpet fanfare. It is pretty vague, but I think the snare is definitely the most thing. They at least put that in there for some reason, so I'm feeling like it's probably some sort of a reflection or commentary on war and wartime losses and how the bodies are just left there at times and you just can't do anything about it, but in their own loss, they will maybe spread the beauty of the results of the war and the winning party. This is probably the most vague I've seen their lyrics, and that is saying a lot. I think a lot of their other songs are a little bit more straightforward, or at very least lyrically give more hints to what the actual source material may have been, what the inspiration may have been. But this one is very neutral on that front, and it really doesn't give me a lot, so that's the best I can do for the overall lyrical analysis there. And musically, this song is really fun too, for a few reasons. Like, for example, when you settle into that final measure, they sit here on a perfect fifth, which is an F and a C, but then it resolves using this A slightly up higher. But when you move that A back down into this area, you get the F major chord. So just that balance there, being separated and throwing it up there just for a slight accent to lift everything up a little bit. And there's a bunch of examples of amazing chord composition in here, just taking things and moving them around a little bit. That's my personal favorite because of that perfect fifth. It just sounds so good. It's so clean. And I mean, perfect fifths are everywhere. You can literally do them pretty much anywhere in the key of C, which I think this song is in, because listening through this, I don't think I heard any black keys in here, which would make it a different key. A C major is just a straightforward, all on the white keys sort of key, very easy to learn how to play, and one of the easiest songs to write in, but also just as flexible as any other key. It's one of my personal favorites just because you can do anything in here, but there is some spots in here where like notes are neighboring each other, like especially on the bass line again, they're later in the song, there's like a climb, just two next to each other. I think that was an F and an E. And it's just like, that's an indirect example, but it's just an example of how like, you can just, these crunches, these little things that happen while you're down in that lower register especially, can make for really chunky. For example, that was an F sus2. Like, there's a bunch of weird stuff you can do in here, and it's just so much fun to mess with, and it allows you to make a song that can sound brilliant in every way, shape, and form. It can be sad, it can be happy, it can do anything you want it to do, and just because a key is major doesn't mean that you can't write sad stuff in it. Like I say and everyone else says, the easiest way to think about keys and how to play them is like if you hear that there is a major key, a major chord, it's a very happy or at least uplifting, proud, high bravado chord, something that doesn't sound sad at all. If anything, it sounds uplifting. And then when you hear minor chords, it's pretty much the exact opposite. It's sad, it's a little bit depressed. There's an unfortunate energy to it whenever you play a minor chord, but that doesn't mean that major keys and minor keys don't share major chords between each other. Just because a key says that it's a major or minor doesn't mean that those other types of chords don't exist within them. It's just how you approach using them, and in this case, they made this sound so unfortunate. This song sounded somehow so sad, but also so uplifting at the same time, while using one of the keys that I would personally say is probably one of the more proud and bright and vibrant keys of all music, because the C major key is used so commonly for that, but when you use it for something else, you're like, oh, wait a minute, you can do that? And it makes you recheck yourself. And that might be why this song sounds so eerie in a way. It sounds so sad, but it feels like it shouldn't. It feels like there is a backbone of the pride, maybe, of the Maggots and them doing what they know how to do, and just that's it. That's all they can do. Just let them be. Let the Maggots sing. I think that comes full circle beautifully, actually, if you think about it like that. And I really don't think I could end off this video with anything more poignant than that, so I think I'll end it here. So thank you all so very much for watching. Again, I will be getting back to doing Project Moon stuff. I just really wanted to hear Mili's work again, and I really love this song now. I think this is maybe my new favorite Mili song. That's saying a lot. That is putting a lot of weight on this song, but this is so beautifully haunting. I just can't get over it. The way it's produced is amazing. The synths, again, I could go off on that entirely in its own video, like its own category even. There's so many little things playing into how this song feels the way it does, but I'm not going to get into that now. Thank you all again so much for watching. If you have anything else you want me to get to from Mili or from Project Moon, by all means leave it in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to it. And of course, if you just enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for those in the future, you know how to do all of that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!